Attila proposes me to become his advisor, Orestes announces to his father. Stunned by this unexpected news, Tatul said nothing. His heart begins to beat. He holds his breath and feels the heat invade his body despite the freshness of this vast room of his house in Patavium, so cold in December. A snowfall with large flakes, beautiful and dry, which fall on the window a little quiet Tatul's spirit. He looks attentively at his son, reflects for a moment and asks, "Have you already accepted?" "I said that I accept subject to the authorization of the Roman government and the agreement of my family." This answer relieves the father. "I think you thought it over. But why would the regent accept that you should go to the service of the Huns? Because it is in the interests of the empire. Why? Let's start with the interest of our family. You asked me to establish good relations in the Huns government to protect our properties between the Danube and the Drave. That's right. Attila wants to entrust me with relations with the government of Ravenna." Tatul's eyes grow in astonishment and he exclaims, "How can he have so much confidence in a Roman like you who wants to save the empire and the Roman civilization with all his heart? He too wants to save the Roman civilization. Do not forget that he studied in Italy and helped General Generidi to recruit 10,000 Hun mercenaries to save the empire. Yes, it's true. But what policy does he intend to pursue in relation to the Roman empires? He wants the Pax Hunno-Romana, and thinks that this is the only possibility of having a stable peace from Spain to the Urals, the Hun-Roman peace. Did he dream of conquering the Roman world and of putting on the throne a puppet emperor like Attalus, proclaimed by Alaric in 409, and Jovinus, proclaimed by the kings Gore and Gunterius in 411? The Huns are much more powerful than the Visigoths, Alans and Burgunds. They are numerous, well organized and occupy immense territories. But they are, in fact, less dangerous. They do not like the other barbarians to settle on the Roman lands because they are horsemen of the steppes, breeders and hunters. Attila wants to confederate barbarian Europe. Perhaps to civilize it and, above all, to ensure the coexistence of all these people so different. I can help him to save the empire." Tatul breathed a sigh of relief and exclaims, "God help her. I understand that this grandiose project fascinates you and you can make an interesting career in the court of the Huns, brighter than in Ravenna. To great ills, great remedies. Perhaps. You will in this way save the Roman civilization. I know you will never dishonor our family. But will Count Romulus agree that your wife, her daughter, should go with you to a barbarous country?" The little snowflakes, mixed with the rain, fall on the window of the house of Romulus in Ravenna. The Count reflects aloud. "I think the regent will accept your request for to have good relations with the Huns and diminish the influence of Aetius. Let us not forget that she did not hesitate to marry. After being captured during the capture of Rome in 410 by the Goths, a barbarian king in order to save the empire. She always thinks of the Pax Gothica Romana, and often yields to the claims of King Theodoric. I am more concerned about your life in this barbarous country. My little Julia, she's so refined. The capital of the Huns is a city, certainly wooden but pleasant to live." Orestes approaches the window and exclaims, "Look, here in Ravenna, there are also many wooden houses. I do not like those sad marshes that surround us here, these polluted canals. Ravenna has no soul. It is only the fear of the barbarians that made it imperial capital, while the capital of the Huns has its soul and its particular charm. I feel there as in the heroic times of Rome when our ancestors were close to nature. But, for instance, We know that the barbarians seldom wash themselves. How can I imagine my daughter dirty and stinking? Orestes laughs and explains, the Huns are almost always outdoors. That is why they cannot bear bad smells. And in their heroic epics it is only their enemies who are stinking. We will have 2 houses. One in the town and the other in a very pleasant place with a small bath on the edge of a river with very pure waters. We can also visit the swimming pool of the royal palace. Besides, the Greco-Roman diaspora, secretaries and other government officials, teachers, traders want to build Roman baths. Romulus smiles. Good. You are an adept of the traditional Roman ways and can do without bath. I think that during your lasting missions, Julia can come to live in our properties in Pannonia on the banks of the Danube and the Drave. It is not so far from the capital of the Huns. No, it's not far. Preparations for moving. The servants fill boxes and large leather bags. Orestes puts the books in a large chest. Julia says, "Do you remember my presentiment that your journey will change our lives?" "Yes, my dear, our life will actually change a lot. I will have activities without doubt interesting and very varied." Orestes continues to speak slowly while turning over a tourist guide. The possibility of seeing distant countries, Bactria, Siberia and perhaps China is passionate. But these travels will not be easy and amusing walks. So much the better. But do not worry. My dear, I do not want to leave you a widow. I want to live my life like the ancient Romans. Serve my country because I will never separate my cause from that of my country in order to protect the happy life of my family. You are a man of action who does not resemble other courtiers. You say the Huns remind you of the ancient Romans, but I think the Huns are very different from the Romans. For example, Hun women are actively involved in public life. True. The Hun women are very different from Roman women. Thus Kirker acts as minister of their government. Attila is very attentive to his advice. Orestes stops putting away his books, raises his head and looks admiringly at Julia. You are so young, so timid, so sweet, so different from the authoritarian women, representatives of the Hun nobility. But you have the wisdom of an elderly woman. I will not try to establish too many relations with the Hun aristocrats. I only aspire to family happiness and want to keep our home. Give you beautiful children and raise them worthy of their father.